Good
afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow, that was kind of cute and in sync. We
Wow.
are the Fuel and Fumes podcast. We bring you. You know what? You go
What?
ahead.
Okay,
You
I
you
got
say
it.
it. I panicked.
I got it. Ready? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Fuel and Fumes podcast. We are your two hosts who bring you all the racing news and gambling picks every Friday morning. This is all the news you need to know. This is what you need to hear to stay in the racing loop. We got all the news from all the series, every single series, every single one that you can think of. We've got it. And Spencer, how
Hello.
the heck are we doing?
Yeah, we're not together, like you said, for the first time. This is our third time trying to record an introduction because us not being able to hold hands and do this is not working out very well for us.
Yeah, when we can't play footsies under the table, it's
Mm.
just bad news,
Mhm,
Bears.
mhm. It is very
And
bad news, but we are here anyways on our very low res webcams because again, we are not together. So we unfortunately do not have the ability
coastal
to
and superior
exactly to
setup
be
that
able
we
to do
normally
this
have.
with a brilliant audio and visual setup.
Yeah, but you know what, Spencer? You know what I do have is your power bait
Oh,
sitting on the
nice.
desk. So
What McGregor has in his hand is the fish bait that smells. I don't know what that one is, but there is some.
trout flavored.
Oh,
It's
that
supposed
one's not.
to
That
trout,
one
trout
stinks.
for clout, maybe.
Yeah, that
Also,
one's.
apologies about any dog noises you hear.
McGregor has a kennel of dogs locked in his basement. None
Yeah,
of them are actually his.
they're not fed.
No,
No,
no.
not fed at all. But before we go any further, I'd like to say that this episode is fueled by C4 Energy. Remember to use code FUMES, that is FUMES,
Mm.
for 20% off at checkout.
Mm.
We got to do a little the dance for it, like give me an F.
Give me a C. Give me a U.
Just turn it into hot to go, buddy.
Yes, C4 is my favorite. Like I said, I would feed it to my dog in the kennel of dogs McGregor has in his basement if I could.
They would love it, I think.
They would love it. It's the only thing they've had in weeks, so they would love it. We love C4. C4, thank you for sponsoring this podcast. Live and die with C4.
We love
Simple as
you.
that.
It's delicious, and it keeps me in the gym feeling fantastic. I'm on my winter arc. I've said it before. I'll say it again. We're putting mass on. We're putting weights on the bar, and we're getting under it. We're going hard. So thank you, C4, for fueling my lifts and my arc.
Ooh, who's the
He's got
spectator?
four legs and a little tail.
Oh,
So
Memphis.
Mr. Memphis is watching.
Oh,
We gotta
very
get
good
a
boy
Memphis.
himself.
Gotta get a Memphis cam.
Yeah, gonna have to get a Memphis cam.
But
do you want to hop into the news stories of the week? Because we actually have a few.
We've got a lot this week. It's been we had a bit of a backlog last week because we got talking and we didn't really get through some of them. But the possibility of a post-season rookie F1 sprint race in Abu Dhabi that has been put before the F1 Commission, the body of people that make decisions, it's not happening.
It's been shut down.
It's been shut down due to the organizational and time constraints, which means that they couldn't properly market it and they couldn't properly figure out a way to steal people's money. Not steal, but take lots of it.
This is just Watergate.
Yeah, this they dangled it in front of our face like, here's a really good idea. We're going to give it to you. And then they said, bang, surprise, one of those for you. It's not happening. Never was, never will.
I think the FIA is just the living embodiment of Krampus. They bring ideas that, seem okay, and then they bring the worst possible outcome to every situation. Because this is an F1. We all wanted a sprint race. I saw all the creators online not begging for, but like this is a fantastic idea to see the broad spectrum of talent and to put it on display on a national globe would be fantastic. And they just dangled it and then they pulled the rug and left me lying on my back with no clothes on. So thanks for that.
Just wined and dined and then they left you out to dry. I'm not sure if any other series does a race like this, like a rookie season end race, which, F1 could be the pioneers here.
They could have been.
Could have been. Yeah. Unfortunately, my hopeful optimism is not going to help change anything today. But yeah, how cool would it have been just to we man, I'm going to just be reminiscing about the ideas of it because in my mind it was the best thing ever.
It was actually
It was my favorite part of the season so
it's
far.
just I think we complain all the time about how F1 has a lack of rotating characters in its series, and this
Yeah.
was their ability to bring, that to the stage with all rookies without really changing the dynamic of what Formula One is. But they decided that we can't make money off of this, so we're going to shut it down. Even
Yeah.
though it realistically, if it was a sprint race weekend, they just did 2 days, say the Friday or the Saturday and the Sunday, they could have
Mhm.
made it one less day, less money. And, you didn't have to make it a full race, so less tires. So you could have made it less money than it needed to be. But they decided that they can't make money off it. So they said, sorry.
It's just that they couldn't make it a sellout event in
Correct.
the short notice that they have, you know?
Hmm.
They've got until December. That's apparently not enough time,
It's enough time.
unfortunately.
It's enough time.
Yeah, it's bullshit. I don't know. I think I'm done talking about this
It's
because
the worst news of the week.
and it is some pretty bad news. Um, I guess we can move into some IndyCar news that's also maybe viewed as not so good.
Mm.
But Michael Andretti has stepped back from his direct leadership of the Andretti global team after deciding it's time
What?
to pass the baton to his partner Dan Tauris. Um, Now it's understood that the exact makeup of the post Andretti structure will be unclear, even to the team itself. But the news has come out earlier that Andretti is intended to emerge during the paperwork process. Wait,
You
what?
had it. You
Yeah,
literally had it.
I literally had it. Sorry that. Yeah, so around the paperwork process, around IndyCar's new charter system. Gotcha. So
So basically, it's just
Andretti's leaving.
entangled into the paperwork of the new charter system.
Right, and so it came out maybe a couple weeks ago, and then it was breaking news as of about last week, but this is kind of the official where the team has actually commented on it. No rumor boys here. Um, but yeah, it's a weird thing. It's a big gap to fill, because Andretti, um, Michael Andretti is obviously the, I think, last of the Andretti family name in the team or in a high senior role. But it sounds like he's stepping back to more of a advisory role, and I guess not managing the day-to-day activities of, a team. Like, they've got IndyCar, they've got Indy Next, they've got Formula E, they've got like like GT racing, everything under the sun. They have lots and lots of racing teams, and I think that's just a lot because he is like, in his 50s or 60s. So
Now, do you think that his stepping back has anything to do with possible traction Andretti is getting in the realm of Formula One?
I think, yeah, Andretti was a big critic of the entire process. He always has been, always will be. Now, do I think that this might help their chances of getting into Formula One? Maybe,
Mm,
because I think he was pretty outspoken, pretty loud about, his disappointment, frustration, and other things that, Formula One really just does not like to show.
mm.
Negative connotations toward the sport. We don't like to see it from, or they don't like to see it from their people. So, now that he's gone, maybe there's a chance.
Who
I
knows?
guess. Who knows? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't exactly know. I know that Michael almost nearly killed McGregor at the track multiple times.
Yeah, yeah, we've almost been hit by an Andretti, um, a golf cart driven by Michael Andretti about 3 to 4 times, I think.
Yeah,
Almost
McGregor
won a
loved.
race, almost
I
won a
think
race.
I think it's just because McGregor has so much volume in his
Mm,
size, that unfortunately how if you've been in an IndyCar pit before, they are not big. They are very small. They are anything but wide. So when McGregor finds himself in the IndyCar pits, especially when it's busy, it's hard for him to maneuver himself around adequately. So
yeah, I'm like a pole in the middle of a sidewalk.
Yeah. So on the topic of Andretti, in the topic of him leaving the team, don't know exactly, what his reasoning is. I'm assuming that it's to take up a different sector or position in the Andretti name. Whether that's in, outside of IndyCar, we don't know. Would make sense that if they're maybe actually gaining traction in Formula One, he may want to take focus just on that, primary project itself. But we kind of won't know until more news comes out about that.
Yeah.
However, the one thing that we do know is that IndyCar will be in Arlington in 2026.
Woo!
So this release earlier this week. We're recording on the Wednesday. I think this came out on the Monday or the Tuesday. So the base for the Dallas Cowboys and the Texas Rangers will host 9 World Cup matches in 2026. And now the city is also adding an IndyCar race to its growing portfolio. The inaugural race of the Arlington Grand Prix will take place in March of 2026 on its 2.73-mile track that will basically go through the entertainment districts and landmarks such as the AT&T Stadium and Global Life Field.
This is interesting. I don't think it was on my bingo card per se. I didn't really think another street race was going to be announced, but I think this is brilliant. Take the sport to a growing, popular, sports city. Bring it to the fans. Don't make them shuttle 35 minutes out to an oval in the middle of nowhere. Okay? Don't do what they did in Nashville. I'm still a little bit upset about that. The racing was great, but that many people don't travel well.
No.
Simply put, there's unfortunately this isn't the 19 I want to say 60s is when every city had a oval in the middle of it. Back in the good old days, back in Nam, but
good days.
This isn't the good old days anymore. There's no ovals in the city center. There's no dirt track ovals anywhere to be found anymore. So, you know what? They've got roads. Let's race on a road. That's okay.
You know where would be a good place to put an oval?
Where?
Right in the middle of Parliament.
Yeah.
Like if you
Canadian or American? Well,
the Canadian Parliament, right in the middle of it.
Yeah, like right by that flame.
Yeah, you'd put it right in the middle, and then same with in Washington, D.C., you would put right in between the White House and oval, a dirt track oval.
on the mall, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
That.
Yes.
Where they got the big thing in the ground.
Yeah, so you would basically have, during any, presidential news, breaking news, you'd have the dirt track going while you're spitting some news.
Yeah, you got boys testing the high line, chucking marbles at you, and they're like, "There's a terrible thing that happened," and then you got, yeah, exactly. You know it. I think
it would just break the ice a little bit on tragic news.
Yeah, I think bipartisanship would really take a hit
for
when
sure.
You're going up against someone in a late model dirt track car or
on a
an
50-degree
IndyCar oval, doing Daytona's banking at a super speedway.
Yes,
I'm in for that. Down with bipartisanship, in with ovals.
Bro, that's literally the title of the podcast.
That is literally the title, dude. I can't. I wonder if people know that we come up with the titles in the podcast.
Yeah, mid
just like it's not like a phrase that we have to work into the podcast somewhere.
It's natural. It's a natural process, just like these dirt tracks. But back to the topic that we started with Arlington being added to the IndyCar calendar. Unfortunately, I do think that as time progresses and the series progresses, I do think that unfortunately we will see less and less ovals on the IndyCar calendar, which breaks my heart. I think that they want to get rid or put a lack of ovals due to the safety concern. So they've removed Texas from 2023 was the last time we had Texas on the oval. They've taken out the oval for this year. And now they've brought it back to Texas, but it's no longer an oval, and it is a 2.73 mile track on the road.
The issue I've got with Texas is that, this is all before my time watching the sport, but apparently up until about 2017, the racing was all right. But from 2017 to present, it has been shit except for 2023. Also, not a lot of people made it out to Texas. Not enough to keep it.
It's
viable.
A good race. It's just not enough attendance. Attendance is a massive issue.
And that's my issue with ovals is that not, if you need 40,000 people to sell out, you're not going to 40,000 people don't travel well, especially for IndyCar. Like we saw it at Nashville. They were saying about 30. I think it was closer to 20,000 people present, but
then you see same with like for the road course before the 500, 2 weeks before the 500, there's no one there. There's no one there for the road course.
No one seems to give a fuck about that one.
Yeah, no one cares about that. No one cares about that. Like the big events that I've gone to that I can recognize, like Laguna Seca is always a well-attended event. St. Pete's is always a big starter of an event. But then there's just some
Toronto's really
Toronto's
good.
A great event. But
they've got such good turnout.
There's some races in IndyCar, whether it's an oval or a road course, that just don't do well. They just don't have the attendance that other races have. Now, I don't know, like you said, is that an issue of the style of race being an oval over a road course? We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know. But it seems like from at least your explanation there about, all the road course is doing well. If you bring it to them, they do all right. Laguna Seca is a bit of a different one because it's way out in the middle of nowhere.
It is in the middle of nowhere.
But you know what? That track's been there for a long enough time where people kind of get to know it. When when they're in the neighborhood, it's legendary. They can
beautiful area.
Exactly. They know where it is. They know what the deal is with it. With some of these older NASCAR tracks that they're racing at, i.e. Nashville, i.e. formerly Texas, people just don't seem to know what they're getting into.
Nope.
They
don't know the boat.
They're older dated facilities, right? They're not the cutting edge Laguna Seca or, IMS, which, they're massive places, but they feel small because they're well built. Not these old NASCAR tracks.
No.
Not them. They're not.
I agree.
They're not fantastic. But anyways, very excited to see Dallas or Arlington. Sorry. Maybe we should go, Spencer.
We
I know you've always wanted to go to Texas.
I've always wanted to go to Texas. It's one of the American states I have not made it to yet.
Yeah, same. Have hardly made it that far south.
Apparently, everything's bigger in Texas, and at the whopping height of 5'8", I would love to find myself there.
That's good. That's good stuff, Spencer.
Imagine
there's how there's time differences. There's height differences.
Maybe.
It's don't know. Oh man, I'm travel west. You're shit. I'm 3 inches smaller.
Yeah.
Travel south. You're a foot taller.
Height zones. We don't know.
Closer to the equator. Gravity is different.
We're gonna have to go to find out.
We will find out.
But
I'm in.
Continuing on the topic of IndyCar, Aston Martin's reserve driver Filippe Druggovich was surprised by his IndyCar test late last week. So he had ended up doing his main IndyCar test with the Chip Ganassi racing team last Monday, and he was left surprised by the speed. Bro, they're fast cars.
Yeah.
The Brazilian, who serves as the reserve driver for the Aston Martin's F1 team, received his first taste of an IndyCar machinery at the Barber Motorsports Park, logging 129 laps and posting the best time of a 1:07.3631. He was, quote, "I was surprised by the speed, but at the same time, it was very different from what I thought it would be. I imagine it would be very similar to an F2 car, and even driving that style is not that different, but feeling the car gives you extremely different from anything I've ever driven before," end quote. So a lot
Filippe
of
Druggovich.
yeah, a lot of these F1 guys putting their finger in the realm of IndyCar with Logan Sargent coming up soon.
Logan Sargent, yeah, he's got a test with Meyer Shank Racing. Mike Shank said he's really excited to get him in the car. But man, this is the kind of testing that I like. You know, we're getting good guys into different places, and we're actually posting the data.
Yes.
Maybe F1 teams could really give that a think. But like, man, it's, I mean, obviously seats right now are at a bit of a premium. There's not really too many to go around, at least from my understanding, but it would be great to see Filippe Druggovich join the grid or get a seat, because he's kind of done nothing in the last couple of years just due to waiting as the Aston Martin reserve driver. And unfortunately, that seat's not going to open up for 2 years at minimum.
Yep.
2 years at minimum, I would say. But yeah, it's, that seems like it's a pretty competitive time at 129 laps. Poor lad's his neck must have just been fried.
His neck must have been fried, but I do agree that F1 needs to take this example with showing times. I could care less if you did a test. If I can't see the results, I don't want to know if you did a test, because I want to see how fast or competitive you are in that car. Don't come out and make public comments that they are fast. Let me see those times, baby.
Yeah, like, as frustrating as it was, the Jess Hawkins test, the Aston Martin, she did a test. She was the first woman to drive an F1 car in the modern era. Did we ever hear a time? No, we did not.
I want to hear a time.
They post 30 videos of her doing it because she's a woman driving an F1 car? Yeah, she did, which is great. I'm all for it. I just want to see the times.
In any category, I just want to see the times.
Strictly care about racing.
I just want to see the times. I don't care who it is. I just want to
see your times. Just show me your times.
Show me the timestamp.
Show me your times, okay? I just want to see them. Speaking of times.
Hey, basically, men's equivalent of women asking what time you were born at is us asking what your time is.
Yeah, what's your lap time?
Yeah, what's your lap time?
Yeah, that's good. My lap time is a 2:04.
Nice.
0.6 at Nürburgring GT in a GT4 BMW. GT3 BMW.
It's quite fast. My fastest time was a 0.58359 in a 2004 Michael Schumacher Ferrari around Montport.
That's quick, dude.
But that car is quick.
Yeah, it's on rails.
That car's on
rails.
On rails.
Speaking of on rails, Lockie Hughes, the USF 2000 or USF Pro 2000 champion, he was on rails all season. He had 5 wins, 6 podiums across 18 race season. He has just signed for Andretti for the upcoming Indy next season. This is good. This is great. We love to see juniors promote to, another junior series. He's going to shake up the field. His talent is ridiculous. Like, I haven't really taken too close of a watch to many juniors, but, met Lockie and then kind of had this vested interest in him just to, figure out how he's doing. But we got to watch him in Toronto. He was great. He's fast. He's fast as hell, and he can race close behind people. So maybe that's car, maybe that's driver. I'm not sure. But yeah, he will be on the grid for Indy Next in the upcoming season. This is cool. I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, I think he'll be competitive automatically, especially being in an Andretti car.
Yeah, exactly.
Putting yourself in a competitive car is great, even though some of it's, luck of getting in which car. But good for him, and the IndyCar season will be great.
Yeah. I said it's also important, for the dough. You gotta sell out a lot to be in an Andretti car. But yeah, I think he will, be leading the field or leading a rookie field, let's say. He will win the rookie battle throughout the season. I'm putting my money down on it. Also, I'm curious to see if, man, what is his name? Louis Foster. Curious to see if Louis Foster gets a promotion here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Coming off the back of a very strong season. He just won the championship. He's won many races. I think he won 7 of his last 8 and brought it home. So who knows?
Guess we're gonna find out.
Curious to see. Kid can race.
Kid can race.
Kid can race for sure. But
so McGregor,
Spencer, take it away.
We have one last burning question before we kind of finish this podcast. We have 6 races left in the Formula One season. We don't have a race until another. Is it next week? Do we have Coda? Is it next week or is it the week after?
We should
next week.
Oh, it is next week. Oh, goody me.
So we finally have a race after nearly a month. However, with 6 races left to go, it bears the question: can Lando Norris beat Max Verstappen in the Drivers' Champion? If not, why not?
Oh man, this is tough because driver to driver, if they're in the same car, it's Max all day.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they're not in the same car. Max has been, the team's been complaining they got a bad wind tunnel. The car, I think, is going to be suffering for a good little bit now, whereas McLaren's got the newest, I think it's the newest of the wind tunnels. They'll be all right. Their car should be up to snuff, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
Car, I think Lando wins. Driver, I think Max wins. But unfortunately, you need to put both together, and that's why I'm going with Lando. I think he's taking it.
You do think Lando's taking it, eh?
I think so. I think I kind of just talked myself into it there because, unfortunately, Max Verstappen, he should win it. He should, right?
Yep.
We can all get on board with that.
Yep.
But he's just not showing that best foot forward as of late, and it could get worse. I think that's what I'm worried about, is it could get worse for him before it gets better, because we haven't seen him in about 5 races, 6 races near the top. So
it's hard to say, because there is a quote from Lawrence B., who is an F1 correspondent presenter, saying that he thinks that Norris absolutely can. And he says it's not going to be easy and it'll require one of the greatest comebacks of Formula One history. But Norris has shown on several occasions that this year he has what it takes to be the very best. He thinks that he can do that consistently with the last 6 races, and 3 of those are sprints, mind you, and continue his run to finishing ahead of Verstappen, which he's done 4 times in a row and counting, and it may reward him with the title. So I do agree. I do think it's possible. I think it's a 50. Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
I think it's a 50-50 is what I'm going to get. I'm going to split it right down the middle.
You're going to just take no sides here.
No.
I think the unfortunate reality is that Max can just do what Jensen Button did. I think, it was Jensen Button. Just bring it home wherever he needs to keep it mathematically in front. Don't push the car too hard. Don't go for the wins. It could be almost an identical replica of the 2009 season.
Yeah, I think he's going to pull little Alain Prost here and just cruise. No risks.
Yeah, just take it easy, bring it home, cross the line every time, because that is how you get the points. And I don't know, Max might not have it in him. He might not mentally be, up to that, because I know he's a stone cold killer. But we do see that he likes to bring as much of the car out as he can. And I think that will definitely, that'll either save him or kill him, right?
It's one of the two.
He's either going to shine. I think he can do it, but you know what? I think he's frustrated from not winning, and frustrated people make bad decisions.
That's a very good way to put it.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close. I'm excited. I think these last 6 races for us as race fans will be some of the best racing we've seen in the past 5 years. it's going to be a great finish, and I'm really excited to kind of see how this transpires.
See, now I'm curious to get your opinion here. Just from a betting perspective, Oscar Piastri, is he getting another win for the season?
It's a very good question,
has
actually.
FIA rules trumped, championship hopes?
You would think in the greater scheme of things that McLaren would prioritize Lando simply for the fact that I think that if it doesn't affect their outcome in the constructors, in terms of, taking risks that don't need to necessarily happen, I think that they will prioritize Lando, but as long as it doesn't affect the greater picture of what's going on. But I do think that they will prioritize Lando. But
Yeah,
will Oscar get a win? I think it's very possible. But it depends on which situation. Like, I think he could absolutely get a sprint race win, although we really don't count those as wins.
we
I
don't,
think
but for this they might actually, because like as you said, Lando needs all of the wins, or he needs to do very well across the last 6 races, sprints included. So because there are 3, so that's a decent chunk of point.
So it'll be close. I think it's possible. I definitely think he would take a sprint win. But will he take an actual Grand Prix win? It's possible. But I think everything needs to go right, because they will definitely try to prioritize Lando. But if he's pacier and he's faster, then that's just what it is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, in situations where, like, if Lando crashes out, which, you just hope doesn't happen, but I think unfortunately it might. I think absolutely Lando gets the go ahead to go for that win.
But it'll be close.
Because hold on, I'm just looking up
it's basically 50 points.
It is not 20. 18th to 20th. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. So yeah, the last 6 races, we've got USA, we've got Mexico, we've got Brazil, we've got Las Vegas, we've got Qatar, and we've got Abu Dhabi. A lot of a good mix of street and road courses. Or
yes.
Sorry, I'm in IndyCar mode here. Street races and regular races, but
yeah,
sorry.
I said I'm excited to kind of see how it finishes. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
I don't have any significant guesses, but it's going to be interesting for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out, especially with how the McLarens are handling just different style tracks, right? Like, we're gonna have, high speed Las Vegas. We've got, fast and flowing Brazil, Mexico, which can be a bit of a bore, but there's usually a pretty good start there, and it's another technical challenge for the cars. USA is just a fucking technical nightmare, but that's just it. That's the problem set that the rest of the season has. So
that's the gist.
That's the jizz of it.
Well, McGregor, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
No, I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I think I'm all out of
we have t-shirts.
IndyCar
we have
racing.
Wonderful t-shirts in medium, large, and XL. If you want them, just give us a little shout on Instagram.
Yeah,
at Fuel and Fumes.
At Fuel and Fumes on all things. Just check our link tree in our Instagram bio. Just give that a little click and go ahead and follow us on everything else, because you love us and you want more of us.
Thank you.
Yep. Shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
With that,
we
out
of here. Goodbye.